Welcome to the Mom Self-Care Podcast, your safe space to finally focus on YOU. I'm Chari Twitty-Hawkins, your self-care coach for moms, praying wife, and mom of four. And I know that being a Christ-centered mom is such a beautiful calling, but it can be so draining. That's why it's important to make sure you are filling your own cup. On this podcast, we'll discuss practical, holistic self-care strategies to help nurture your mind, body, and spirit. Because a mama who fills her own cup pours that back into her family with true peace and joy. Tune in for honest conversations about motherhood and self-care because you matter too. Hello, mamas. Thank you so much for joining me for episode 12, the last episode of season 1 of the Mom Self-Care Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. I can't believe we have finished season 1. It has been such a blessing. And I'm going to take a 2-week break, but in the meantime, I will come on and share maybe a lesson that I learned about self-care or motherhood. So don't worry, I will be sharing something, but it may be just a quick 5-minute tidbit just to keep you inspired on this motherhood and self-care journey. And when I come back, guess what? I'm finally going to start having special guests. I know I told you guys sometimes it would be just me, and then sometimes I would have special guests as well. So I've gotten a lot of people applying to be on the podcast, fellow mamas, as well as experts in mental health, finance, faith. So I'm super excited about our special guests that we're going to have on season 2. So make sure you stay tuned in. And today I'm going to share with you how to strengthen your prayer life, because sometimes, especially with motherhood, when we're busy and we're in this tunnel, or what it seems like tunnel vision of motherhood, sometimes prayer gets pushed back to the wayside, and we don't want to do that. We want to make sure we're communicating with God and being consistent with that. So number 1 is to shift your perspective. Prayer is not something that has to be formal. You do not have to be in your prayer closet or down on your knees by your bed. Now, those are great, but prayer is intimate conversation with God. It should be like you're talking to your best friend, which means you can talk to him anytime when you're waiting in the line and people are taking too long. You can pray and ask for patience. Pray and ask how you can bless somebody. Pray and ask for a mindset shift. You can even pray for the people in the line, because we are all dealing with things, right? We all have our struggles we're dealing with, so you never know. My aunt recently just passed, and I was just thinking, man, there's so many other people in this world that could be or are grieving, and maybe that's why they're impatient, why they are like, having a funky attitude, because they're grieving the loss of someone or something. So that's a time you could take to pray. When you're cleaning, when you're driving, any other time, you can pray and talk to God. It doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out prayer. It can be a few minutes. It can be a minute. Lord help me. I'm laughing because y'all know I have talked about this before, where when you're about to go off maybe on your kids or your husband, you know that Jesus take the wheel prayer. Do that real quick. And remember, when you're praying, don't just pray and ask God, give me this, give me this, give me this. Remember, it's not just a monologue, it's a dialogue. So when you're praying and asking for things, listen for his answer. Listen for his answer. And when you're going about your day, be aware of where he may be answering your prayers. So that's the first thing. Shift your mindset about prayers. And number 2 is to get a prayer book. There is this, I don't want to say her name wrong, but her first name is Stormy. I don't want to mispronounce her name. And I'm so sensitive about that because people mispronounce my real name, which actually is Teresa, you guys. So I'm super sensitive about that. But she has a Power of the Praying book series. She has the Power of a Praying Wife, Husband, Parent, and she may have more. I got the Power of a Praying Wife like years ago. I've been married over 10 years. And so it may have been that long. And then I believe I got my husband the CD. See, telling my age. I believe I got him the CD because he doesn't like to read. He likes to listen. So if that's you, look those up. And I want to say her last name is Omartian. I believe it. I believe it's Stormy Omartian. But look up the Power of a Praying Wife. And there's also, like I said, the Power of a Praying Husband, the Power of a Praying Parent, and the Power of a Praying Mom. And she may have more, but those will help you, guide you to say, hey, these are the type of prayers that I can start praying. So she gives you prayers and then she gives you a space for you to write your own prayer, which I love. Another option is getting prayer cards. So something, you can have sitting on your desk or maybe in your kitchen or wherever, and you pick it up and you read the prayer for the day. I love this motivation because we already have so much to think about as moms. We already really do. So if you have something where you can pick it up and say, boom, okay, I need to pray about this, read the prayer off the prayer card and put it back. And maybe even if it's something that's really hidden, that's really, how you're like, oh, wait a minute. Sit that out and just look at it throughout the day and pray that same prayer over and over. Next is download a prayer app. This is great. I love these because it gives you the prayers you can pray or gives you a template. And they also can send you, depending on the app that you download, can send you prompts throughout the day like, hey, it's time to pray. I love that because like I said, we can be in that tunnel vision and you get that notification. Oh, let me set this other stuff down. Let me pray. And there's a lot of you guys may have heard of the YouVersion app or what we call the Bible app. They have a prayer section. So if you didn't know that, they have a prayer section. You can go in on the app. And I think you click like the three little lines. It's either 3 little lines or 3 little dots. And then you scroll down and you'll see a prayer option. So you can put prayers in, and it also has prayers for you to pray. There's also pray.com, which is an awesome app. Just so many different ones. You can go online and look and say, hey, what is something that's going to help me be more consistent with my prayer life? And another thing is to join or create a prayer group or community. Pray with your fellow mamas, with your family, with your children. Maybe go online and find a group of women that are praying for the same things that you are praying for. Like I said, maybe moms, wives. And that helps so much because, again, it helps you know that you are not alone. You are not alone. And that's why I haven't done it in my community in a while, but I need to start back. I used to post every week. How can we pray for you tonight? So it's very important for you to have a prayer group, even if it's a prayer text message group where you guys text your prayers in there, kind of like an accountability partner or group. And then write down your prayers. Get yourself a prayer journal. You could say, hey, let's see. And I'm just showing y'all this just because it's sitting on my desk. But you could just get a journal and say, hey, or a notebook and say, hey, this is going to be my prayer journal right here. This is going to be my prayer journal, and I'm going to write down my prayers in it. I'm going to pray these prayers. I'm going to come back and look at them. And when I know that, as I mentioned in our previous podcast, when I see that those prayers have been answered, I know God is working in my life, and I can be grateful. And I can testify to other people that this works. And when you're writing those prayers down, be vulnerable. Like I said before, be open and not just ask what you want, but ask God, what is his will? What does he want you to do? What does he need from you? And hopefully those tips help you. Just try one at a time. Don't try them all at the same time because it will overwhelm you. And we know as mamas, we already have enough overwhelm. But if we want a strong relationship with God, we need to make sure that we are consistently in communication with him, not trying to do it all. Because us as moms, and I've said this before, I remember when I said it, when the first time I said it, I was like, but then it's true. It's like we try to play God. We try to do everything. We try to control everything. But that's not your place. You have to let other people help you. You have to let God bless other people to bless you instead of trying to do it all and be in control of everything. That is not your job, and it will cause burnout. It will cause unneeded stress. So in order to make sure you check in yourself, you can write that down in your prayer journal. Please, Lord, help me to know when to let go of control. It reminds me of the serenity prayer. So guys, thank you again so much for joining me for season 1 of the Mom Self-Care Podcast. Feel free to take this time to go back and listen to the previous episodes. And again, don't forget, I'm not going to just not post for 2 weeks. I'll be back. What is that? October the 15th. But in the meantime, each week I will drop a little something that has inspired me that I know will inspire you, or any updates on our coaching programs or upcoming webinars. All right, ladies, well, make sure you take care. Make sure you are praying, and stay in constant communication with God. Until next time, Take care. God bless. Thanks so much for joining me for the Mom Self-Care Podcast. I hope you feel inspired to make yourself a priority too. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. Share this podcast with another mama you love and leave a review. Also, feel free to let me know what you would like to hear about in future episodes by visiting me on Instagram at CICInspireMe. Until next time, take some time to take care of YOU because you matter too.